law enforcement officials get candid about the state of policing and what they hope to see moving forward.
Businesses are open and operating after being shut down for several months due to COVID. We'll tell you what some of the local owners have to say.
These stories and more are coming up on Lake Area Beat. Well, hello everybody. After a break in production, we're back at it. I'm Trace Minarchak.
I'm Kurt Friesen, and this is Lake Area Beat.
And it's good to see you, kind of.
Right.
I think you're under there.
Right. Yeah, it's been a long couple months.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how are things at the fire department for you guys? What's been the hardest part of all this for you guys?
Yeah, the hardest part for us is at the fire department, we like to do things as a group and get together between the two stations or the groups of different firefighters we have. So we've had to adjust our training into smaller groups and, trying to make everything work and still meet our expectations. Mm-hmm. What about you guys?
Same for us. We have to be separate and we can't see each other. We can't do training, that sort of thing. We go on calls, we have to wear masks, and that gets difficult because sometimes it gets really hot and we're in an apartment or a house for a long time. And it's really been difficult because normally summer is when we're getting out and meeting the community and talking to people and getting to know people, and people ask us questions, and now
Right.
It's hard, especially nowadays, that they can't really come up to us, or we're
Right.
not outside as much as we usually are.
Right.
And it goes without saying that it's been a difficult time in our nation's history.
Many public safety agencies have come under attack, but first responders in White Bear Lake hope to have open discussions and transparency when it comes to the community.
White Bear Lake Police Chief Julie Swanson and Captain Dale Hager sat down with our production crew and talked about some of these issues.
I think that we've been through a lot of hills and valleys in this profession just since we started in the late 90s, early 2000s, and I certainly think we can name some highs. 9/11 was a horrible incident, but in the months and even years after 9/11, we couldn't get enough hugs from the public. Everybody loved police and military, and we kind of all got lumped into one. And that was a high. We were kind of floated on that high for a few years, and then you run into valleys of Ferguson, and now in the last few weeks the same situation.
I watched the video, and it just kind of made me sick to my stomach. My heart fell when I heard him crying for his mom. Some of the emails that we got those first few days were, White Bear Lake needs to ban chokeholds. Well, we didn't allow them to start with. We don't train for that. And just, you have to change your training, and you have to do this training. And I think what we have done since then is done a better job of sharing with our community the training that our officers do receive, because I feel that we're very progressive in it. We've put a lot of thought into what kind of training we have, whether it's mental health or crisis intervention.
And I'm proud of our department that we have created that. You have nothing to be fearful of. If you see a problem, say something. And I suspect, just like Chief said about the folks that are standing by and seeing an inappropriate use of force being done on somebody, I would think that they'd be able to stand up and just go, that's not right.
The more informed they are, typically the more satisfied they are. And you can't shy away from informing people of what we do and how we do it and why we do it, because if you're doing it appropriately, then there's nothing to hide.
We don't have the luxury of being able to be political or even personal on the job. We have to do our job, and we have to be fair to every member of our public, and I really feel like our department does that well. I think that we understand people's plight, and we understand how we won't hit a home run every time when we're dealing with the public, but we really understand that our goal is to provide the best service that we can to the citizens of White Bear Lake. We may have some recruiting problems coming up in the near future with, the perception of law enforcement by some in the country or in our state. But I think that over time, I think the right people will get into the profession for the right reason, and I think we'll be able to kind of overcome that.
Our officers are very dedicated to their community. Our whole department is, and they take great pride in where they work and how they serve and how we are perceived by our community. Nobody wants there to be a poor relationship, or even, they don't even want one person to think poorly of us, because we try so hard to do the right thing, be the right thing, and be there for our people, our community. And it's just really important. We have a great group of people. I'm really proud of them.
Thanks to them for sharing their perspectives.
Even though the License Bureau has been closed to the public, people are anxious to get inside City Hall, and you can, but by appointment only. Here's how they're currently operating.
A lot of people knocking on the doors or trying to come in. We're like, well, we just use the drop box. The drop box is always there, or you can set up an appointment with us and we're happy to help. You just go on our website and book an appointment for a driver's license, title transfer for motor vehicle, or watercraft. We would like people to use the drop box for tab renewals, disability certificates, DNR registration renewals, but the in-person transactions, we want the appointments made online on our website. Anyone with a driver's license that's expired between March 12th, 2020 and July 31st, 2020 has until August 31st, 2020 to renew their license. So Driver and Vehicle Services and us are encouraging people to take that into account when booking an appointment, and that you do have at least 3 months as of right now to renew. So, and they have the Real ID deadline extended until October 1st of 2021. The incredible stress has brought out the best and worst in us every day, but that we're adaptable and we've made a lot of changes, and everyone has done very well with the changes and continuing to assist our customers on a daily basis. I think that's the most important, is that the customer service that we provide is still the same. We want to help you any way that we can.
We're glad to be outdoors taping the show with beautiful White Bear Lake as our backdrop. It's a hot spot year-round, but especially in the summer.
Owners of a local business and fixture on the lake are glad to be back in action. Here's that story.
It was a very ironic year, and what I mean by that is we actually had ice out early, weather cooperated early. We could have opened early.
What would have been an early beginning for owners of Tally's Dockside instead became a late start due to COVID-19.
Our big goal was to keep safety and spacing.
Allowed to open June 1st by Phase 3 of the governor's plan for reopening Minnesota businesses.
How's it going, sir?
Connor Dainert, son of owners Keith and Jan, who've owned and operated Tally's for 30 years, came up with a new system to accommodate COVID rules and restrictions.
So you walk up to this area, you order your food, order your drinks anytime you need anything.
It is so nice to have the young blood come in with ideas. You know, he actually understands very well the customer perspective. And I'm sure, maybe he didn't tell you, but 90% of our protocol we put into place has come out of his brain.
Between the bar, boat rentals, live music, and their restaurant, CJ Hook's Barbecue, there are a lot of moving parts to Tally's. But Connor says despite a tough first day after reopening,
You guys doing all right?
it's been relatively smooth sailing, customers simply happy to be out again.
Perfect. Yep. We needed to get out. We did. We were ready. A little reprieve after the long quarantine.
Gosh, it's so amazing to be out again. Perfect day, and we love Tally's. We've come here a lot, so we're glad we can come again, and it's open and just enjoy the atmosphere and the beauty of the lake and people having fun, you know, just relaxing.
Dainert says though the easygoing atmosphere of Tally's remains the same, the biggest change has been making sure customers feel safe, something they're taking seriously. And waiting a little longer for a drink lakeside is worth it.
I had one customer walk in and said, tongue-in-cheek, I'd pay hundreds of dollars for a glass of beer that I didn't have to pour myself, somebody else waited on me, and I could sit outside and enjoy. That kind of summed it up to me right there, that people really wanted out.
Well, people are definitely glad to be out. And do you have any must-dos that you have to do during the summer?
You know, a lot of it is just spending time with the family. For me, the fire department is a busy time of the season for us.
Yeah.
Usually there's a lot of community events. Our call volume's usually up. We have a lot of different things going on, so it's busy for us. So I try to make time for doing things at home as well.
Yeah.
But, nothing specific. What about you?
Just being outside.
Yeah. Enjoy the weather,
We're
right?
inside for the other 6 months, so we got to be out for 6 months, right?
Right, yeah.
The number of people using the food shelf has doubled since COVID, and volunteers have been hard at work during the pandemic packing food for kids in need.
Here's why members of the Rotary Club say it is important to give back.
So that's my 99th bag.
The White Bear Rotary here packing food, and they're packing kid packs, which kid packs is for students that are at the school that are experiencing food insecurity. This is a little package of food, a couple of dinner items, mac and cheese, a couple of snack items like granola bars and that kind of thing, and a couple of breakfast items, cereal, some of those type of items that help sustain kind of when the food programs are not going on during the weekend.
Now I'm gonna cry if you ask me that. I just can't imagine these kids not eating and their families. It's so hard for everybody right now. So it just makes me feel good.
We care a lot, yeah. And you know, when you're talking about feeding children, I mean, who wouldn't get emotional about that? That's why I've been involved with the food shelf all these years as well.
The content of what we're packing hasn't really changed. The intention of that really hasn't changed, but I think the purpose of that, I think people really are even more focused in on the need and wanting to provide for the need of people in our community that are struggling. And so.
Be able to live in a place like White Bear Lake, especially in times of trouble, and to be able to have these opportunities, you know, it's we're pretty blessed.
The food shelf is always looking for donations. Here's a link to their website if you're interested in learning more. Someone dies of stroke every 4 minutes in the United States, and quick action is often the key to survival.
Here's how a quick response helped Police Captain Dale Hager make a full recovery.
It was just surreal. It was such a surreal moment that that I went through, and I suppose there's a little bit of, really, I'm that guy? Like, I had a stroke, you know? As soon as I got up, I fell right under the desk right here, and that's when I'm looking at my arm and my leg in the same field of vision and thinking, I can't move these right now. So I'm having a stroke. And so I knew I was having a stroke at that moment. And the chief walks in the door, and, and I won't use the expletive that she used, but she walked in the door, she goes, what are you doing, right? And I looked at her and I went, roar, roar, roar.
She went, "You're having a stroke." I said, "Yeah." I owe, at the very least, I owe the quality of life I have now to Regents Hospital, to Health Partners, to Dr. Hussein.
Oh, hey! I really enjoy what I do. I'm a stroke neurologist. We always quote a study that estimated that for every 1 minute the stroke treatment is delayed, about 10 million neurons, 10 million brain cells die. So we are fighting the time. Dale was fortunate and that he called for help right away. And of course, he was brought to the hospital right away, and he came in the perfect time. We want to see patients as early as possible, and he came early, and that helped him.
My kids are probably irritated with me because I hug them way more now than I have ever hugged them before. There, by the grace of God, go I, right? I mean, any day could be your last day, and so I guess I feel that way.
We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we'll tell you why a certain sector of businesses reopening could save marriages everywhere.
Many women and men across the world have been showing their true colors. I'm talking their gray hairs, as salons were ordered to close for several months.
Governor Walz allowed them to reopen on June 1st, and phones at local salons started ringing off the hook. In addition to hair services, it's clear husbands and wives stuck together during the stay-at-home order are ready to vent. Take a look.
Thank you for calling Urban Edge Cuts. This is Jenny.
As Jenny Rustad prepares for the June 1st opening of her salon, Urban Edge Cuts,
I just want to make this temporary, obviously.
she reflects on being shut down for over 2 months due to COVID-19. Her doors were officially ordered closed at 5 p.m. on March 17th.
You think about your bills, feeding your child, doing the homeschooling on top of it, and so it's definitely been tough going through this, especially when it's like I'm healthy. I should be able to work. I should be able to do my job.
Rustad opened her salon on White Bear Avenue more than 5 years ago and has experienced a booming business, her loyal client base helping her weather the storm, waiting for the governor, deeming salons as non-essential businesses, to allow them to reopen.
Our clients are so great to us. They've done what they can with either purchasing gift cards or, reaching out any way they can to help us out is just really proven to me we're good. We're gonna be booming once we can open again.
The opening isn't a return to normal. There are rules in place, including longer appointment times to allow for cleaning between clients, practicing social distancing, and both clients and stylists must wear masks.
Okay, otherwise Monday, Sarah does have a 5 p.m. or a 6 p.m.
Just days before opening, Rustad says she's booked several weeks out, people anxiously awaiting a return to a simpler time when stylists not only did hair, but served as a sort of therapist.
We're really the one person that they can come and vent to, and so we'll have lots of stories to catch up on with our clients, with them, and ourselves.
Living the now.
I think we saw a picture of you serving as a barber.
Well, I tried. When people are desperate, I'm there.
Did you have a lot of haircuts?
I had my 2 regular clients and then 5 additional. So yeah, it was pretty busy. So I had repeat clients and
Well, that's good.
desperate. It's been an unusual school year, and high school graduations were done much differently.
Here's how one local preschool got creative in order to say goodbye to their kids.
It is, yeah! Meadow! Woo! I haven't seen you forever! I miss
We are having our end of the year celebration for preschool, and all the parents and families are getting to drive by and wave goodbye to all us staff. Relationships are everything to us, and we've been missing our kids so much, and I assume they're missing us. And so this is a chance to say goodbye, wish them well. We wish you well, and just have that closure to a strange end of the year.
guys.
It's super exciting to be with these little kids, you know, and they've made a lot of progress at home during this distance education.
Yes.
We want to celebrate that. Their parents have worked hard.
Thank you. Hi, Mason. Oh my gosh.
We certainly enjoyed being back here with you for this edition of Lake Erie Beat. And it was good to see, well, most of you.
Right. You too, Tracy. And thank you for watching.
Have a safe and happy summer. We'll see you next time.